Hello and welcome, Rosie, to this interview for the Youth and Community Work team at Newman University. I've just called you Rosie, but would you mind introducing yourself?
So hi, I'm Rosie. I am a community youth worker for the Door Youth Project.
And where's that based?
It's based in Gloucestershire, which is my hometown.
Okay, thanks. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do there, your role?
Yeah, so the Door works with young people aged 11 to 25 and their families. We work all over the county, all over the district around Stroud. And my role as a community youth worker is I am responsible for the youth project based in Wootton-under-Edge, one of the small towns in the area. But I also support the other youth workers and work across the county in other youth centres that we run.
Brilliant. And can you tell me a little bit about, because I know that you've been very active online, because every time I go online there's something there from you and from the Door. You've done a number of really creative things in terms of responding to COVID-19 and supporting young people. Can you talk us through some of those, please?
Yeah, so we're the biggest youth provider in our district now, although we are a charity organisation. We not only run the youth projects, but we also have a big mentoring support system as well that we've moved online to. But for the youth work side of things, within a day of the lockdown being announced, we had launched our Door at 4 project, which every day we post at 4 o'clock different things for young people, and that includes a game or a challenge that they can get involved in for Challenge Tuesday. We have Thoughtful Thursday, which is a more reflective piece for them to start thinking about themselves and the world around them. And we have the Door Tries, which is more of a comedy video that we post onto YouTube. As well as this, we're just starting to do online youth sessions through Zoom and other digital platforms. And we offer a phone line so young people can book in to speak to myself or the other youth workers on a one-to-one basis.
Wow, that's a lot. And you managed to get all of that off the ground within a day of the lockdown. Can you tell me a little bit more about that process?
Yeah, so we did predict that the lockdown would happen, so we did start to think about what we would do before the lockdown was announced, but it is something that we've been able to develop over the last 11 weeks. But yeah, we did have it from the get-go, as we knew that our young people and families that we work with do continue to need this support. Brilliant.
So does that mean that you're already quite digitally active as a youth work team, or have you undertaken any specific educational training in that area?
So we have definitely learned a lot. I was fortunate enough to go on a youth training course a few weeks before lockdown happened in Romania on digital youth work. So there I learned lots of digital tools which I have been able to put into practice. I've also been able to train up my youth work team on these tools and share my knowledge to develop.
Fantastic. And how have you found young people have responded to the move to like a digital interface interaction rather than a face-to-face?
I think we definitely can't replace face-to-face interactions, and my personal preference is definitely face-to-face, but I find that young people are living in a digital world anyway, so it's been quite a natural transition for them because it's a place that they're already in. So we found it interesting trying to join them in that space and do it in a way that works for them.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. I guess if that's their social space and that's where they go anyway, and youth work I guess also is a social space and they choose to come and visit you there. Maybe there's some similarity there between detached youth work and digital youth work because you're on their patch. Have you found anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the first things we did was open Instagram pages for our different centres. So trying to engage with young people on that platform and work out what they want us to provide for them and what they want to do and what they want to get involved in has been really interesting. And definitely in terms of we can post something and they just don't respond at all, and that's completely their right to do so and things. So definitely similarities with detached
Right. So there's that element of them withdrawing, if you like, so that they can walk away or not get involved, so it's not foisted on them. So I guess maybe does that link to some of the stuff that you've been covering as a master's student on the Newman course in terms of some theory about interaction with young people?
Yeah, definitely. And then the voluntary participation is such a huge thing, whether online or face to face.
Yeah. And in terms of past 11 weeks experience that you've had, what would you say has been your biggest learning curve? And what's been the most challenging thing that you've had to kind of get to grips with in terms of supporting young people?
I think for me, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm very I like things to know what I'm doing and be able to have that control. And digitally, we've had to change and adapt so quickly to what we're doing, so I found that quite difficult. But working alongside our young people in doing that and changing the service and getting them involved in what they want.
So sorry to interrupt. So they've been kind of co-creators of the new process with you. Oh well, that's great, isn't it? That's wonderful. And can you think of very specific examples of how you've supported a young person that's been going through a challenging time during COVID-19?
That's a great question. I guess for me, it's just being available through, I spoke to a lot of young people through private messages and Instagram messages. So them just chatting and starting off, how are you? Oh, I'm good, but actually getting to more in depth with that through messages has been really interesting. Navigate you can't tell someone's feelings and everything through text either. So trying to navigate that and support them in that way has been interesting. Thankfully, I haven't had any kind of major safeguarding.
Yeah, sure. That's brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your experience of doing digital youth work, I guess, in a time of COVID-19? And what advice would you give to people out there who are thinking, we need to do something online digitally because youth work is youth provisions are still closed for the moment?
Yeah, my advice would be look online, see what other people are doing. There's so much support available through the National Youth Agency and in Defence of Youth Work, and there's so many support groups that are there to offer support in terms of safeguarding and the practicalities of it. But there's also no wrong answers in terms of digital youth work. Have a go at things. I've done things like live bingo, live quizzes. Some things have worked, some things haven't, but we just don't know until we try it. So go for it would definitely be my advice.
Brilliant. I think that's really great, and that's really informative. Obviously, we'll include your details from the door on the video when it goes out. And I'd just like to thank you for taking the time. I know you're really busy because you're still a master's student for Newman, and also you're doing all of this work for the door and with really creative ways of engaging people. So thanks for your time, Rosie, and I'll speak to you soon.